Alright, what's up guys? Justin here with TheSketchUpEssentials.com, back with another SketchUp tutorial for you today. So usually on Wednesday I create more of a like a quick tip or tutorial, but this week I got an email in from somebody that was looking for a way to do something with kind of a twisted stair railing, and I got interested in how to make it happen. So I figured I'd just go ahead and make a video on how to do that. So anyway, let's go ahead and just jump into it. So first thing we're gonna do, so the way this stair rail works, and I'll pop up a picture on the screen, but the way this rail works is it kind of starts out coming straight out from a wall, and then it kind of flows out and down. So the rail kind of curves down as well as out. And you know, it's pretty easy to make a shape that curves one way in SketchUp, but getting something to kind of curve multiple different directions can get a little trickier. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. In order to do this, you're going to need a couple different extensions. Specifically, you're going to need FredoScale by Fredo6 and PathCopy by Rick Wilson. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is basically when you take a look at the stair rail, what it's got is it's got a section in here that comes out straight before it starts curving. So the first thing we're going to do is just create a path to kind of extrude a general rail shape along. So first thing you're going to do is just start at the center point just like this. And then I'm assuming this is probably about 12 inches out from the wall. And then next thing we're going to do is we're also figuring, so on the part where it curves, you want to figure how far outward it goes. So in this case, I'm going to figure 2 foot 6 inches. And then you're also going to want to figure out how far down it goes. So in this case, on that one, I'm going to go ahead and figure it's going to go down 12 inches. And you can probably, just to make this easier, draw a little box along this face. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to draw an arc along this face. That's going to be our path that we're going to extrude our rail along. So what we're going to do is activate the arc tool by tapping that A key, and then click and just kind of set an arc that curves the way that you want it to curve. And if it helps you, the way that we're going to think about this is we're going to go ahead and draw our rail as it goes along here, and then we're going to use Shape Bender, or the Radial Bend tool, which is part of FredoScale's tools, and we're going to bend it outwards. So go ahead and draw your arc just like this, and then the next thing you're going to do is, if your arc goes over like this a little bit, go ahead and erase that extra piece. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the little rectangle for our rail. So, and I'm just assuming this is going to be 1 inch wide, probably 1/2 inch thick. Sorry, I'm going to figure it's 2 inches wide. So I'm just going to draw a box that's 2 inches wide, 1/2 inch tall, just like this. So this is the shape that I'm assuming that we're going to extrude along our path. And so it's pretty easy to come in here, since this path is straight right now, it's not curving outward. We can just use the Follow Me tool to go ahead and extrude that and create our general shape. So come in here and select your path just by dragging a box across it from right to left. And then you're going to activate the Follow Me tool. Come in here and you're going to click on this face. So, and you can see what that does is that extrudes your metal along this piece right here, which is great. You can come in here, you can select it, you can reverse the faces just like that. So the first thing that we've done here is we've created our general rail shape. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to create our pickets, like our vertical pickets in here. And so probably the best way to do this, since you've got kind of a curved path like this, is you're going to use an extension like PathCopy. So you can go in the extension warehouse and look up PathCopy by Rick Wilson. That's going to be real helpful for what we're doing here. But basically what we're going to do is we're just going to come in here and we're going to start off, and we're just going to draw a line or a component just like this. So what you can do is just draw a line straight down and make it the height of the pickets that you're going to want. So in this case, I think I'm going to want my pickets to be 2 foot 6 inches high. So just draw a line that's 2 foot 6 inches high, and then so you can't do anything with it right now because it's just a line. So just draw a little hook off the end of it, just like this. And then what you can do is you can come in here, you can select it, and you can make it a component, and you can call this picket. Okay, so now you've got your picket in here. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to use PathCopy to copy this picket along this path. All right, so go in here, select PathCopy, select your path, then click once on your component just like this. And you can see where this says distance between is 10 feet. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in a different distance. So let's say we type in 1 foot. So that'll give us 3 of these. And basically what you need to know is you need to know how many pickets are going to run along this piece right here. So in this case, I need 3 pickets along the lower curve section, and then I need 2 up here. So we're going to go in here and just kind of mess with these distances until we get the right number of pickets. So just come in here and try different distances until this kind of spaces this the way that you want. So in this case, what I want is I want a flat picket about on the flat piece right here, and then I want 2 that are along the curve right here. So now we've got these components in here, and you can go ahead and move them down using the move tool so they're flush with the bottom of this rail. You see how they fit right here. Well, the nice thing about components is you can come in here and you can pull an extra piece off to the side, and you can actually model on these components like this, and all of these instances the component will change as well. So that makes it really easy to come in here and work on these. So what you want to do is, I'm probably figuring for now we'll just say these pickets are 1 inch thick, so I'll do 0.5, 0.5, 1, 1, and basically what we're looking for is just a square that's kind of centered on this piece, and then you can just use the push-pull tool to extrude that to the top here so that everything's kind of flush. And you can see the nice thing about the way we did that is now those are along this piece right here, and we can come back in and fix these in a minute. So because these aren't exactly in line with the rail here, but we'll come in here and fix those in a minute. The important part is that we're pretty close on this piece right here. So the next thing we're going to do is a couple of these pickets are fancier pickets. So the front one here and the one right here are a little bit fancier. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to right click, we're going to select both of these, and we're going to click Make Unique on these 2 components. And what that means is now if we come in here and we adjust one of these, the other one will adjust, but the other 3 won't. So that'll let us come in here and start modeling the more complicated pieces. So one thing you can do is you can come in there and you can hide that rail just long enough for you to extend these to the length that you want. So you're just kind of getting them out of the way, and then you can unhide them. And so now all you need to do is, when you come in here and edit these, this has kind of a funky head on it. So it's kind of ornate. It's got a little piece right here, a little piece right here, and then a big head. And so what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to use the move tool in copy mode to kind of rough out your path right here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to use the follow me tool around this path to extrude a face. So then you can come in here, you can draw an arc, and then now you see how I've got my path selected. What you can do is you can come in here with the follow me tool and just use that path to extrude everything around that perimeter right here. All right, so you can do the same kind of thing for the second detail piece in here. And actually, you know what I'm going to have you do first is I'm going to have you come in here and save. So always remember to save often when you're working on something like this. You don't want to lose all your work. All right, so you've come in here, you've created a second path along here, and this is just for the smaller little out piece that you have right here. And if it helps, you can use the keyboard shortcuts to lock the inference of that to the red axis. But anyway, so go ahead and extrude this piece. You can reverse the faces just like this, and then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to kind of rough out, you're going to come in here and you're going to kind of rough out your general shape for what you're looking for. So the way this looks is it's basically got a real fat top just like this. And then it kind of narrows off here at the top. So the way we're going to do this is we're just going to do the same kind of thing that we did before, but just kind of make this wider tangential piece. You can erase these and then just come in here, draw a line across the middle, because basically you're just looking for this face is what you're looking for. So you can actually erase this square because we'll just use the one down below. So you're just going to drag a box across this, unselect this piece, unselect this face. Actually, it's probably better to just go in here and shift click on these. So just select these four. You can see we're still selecting our path right here. And then just do the same thing with the follow me tool. Just extrude that in a circle or along a square just like that. That'll get us this kind of fancy head shape on this. And then you can come in here after the fact if you want to. Maybe come in here and make this a group, because once you make this a group, you don't have to worry about messing with this other geometry. But you can kind of scale this down. You can scale it out a little bit if you want to. You have to be a little careful with what you do with the base, but you can basically just kind of adjust this with the scale tool just a little bit. But do remember, since this is a component, if you're going to scale that, make sure you're actually inside the component group so that they both change. But anyway, now you've got, whoops, you may have to hide a little bit of geometry in here. But now you've got kind of this general handrail shape. And then the other thing you can do is, I think now you can go ahead and make this a group, and you can just kind of move it down. So you can move it down until it's kind of flush with this piece right here. And then we can go ahead and extend these pieces because they hang down a little bit in the image that we're going for. They go all the way down to the ground. But basically what that's given us is it's given us this general shape that we can come in here and work with. So now that you've got your general shape roughed out, you can see how it's flat and straight. You may want to come in here. In this case, I may make these unique because I'm going to go ahead and adjust the tops right here, and I don't want to adjust this one. But just be careful with that, because if you are going to come in here and try to make these more ornate, do that before you make these two unique, so you only have to change it once. But basically you can come in here, you can select the head of this piece and just kind of, probably a better way to do that is to come in here and select this line and just move it straight up. And just do it enough so it kind of hits this face. Don't do it too far, or else it's going to show through on this bottom piece over here. But now these rail pieces follow along with this curve. So you've got your general shape in here modeled. I'm going to go ahead and hide this over here. So now we're going to come in here and you can make this a group. You probably want to make it a component actually. So just make it rail section. So now we've got our flat rail section ready to go. All right, so now that you've got your section in here and ready to go, and before you do this, come in here and just make sure you've got everything kind of cleaned up so you don't have pieces like this sticking through on your model like it's doing right here. So you can go ahead and clean up the bottom piece so that that runs along this curve as well. And then once you have that all ready to go, what we're going to do is we're going to use FredoScale's Radial Bend tool. And I love this tool. It lets you do a ton of different stuff. I'm going to go ahead and move this up a little bit so we're more near the origin point. But what it does is it basically lets you take a piece of geometry just like this, and it lets you bend it. You can bend it along a curve. And so basically what we're doing is, you see how I put all this in a group? Well, now we're going to activate that Radial Bend tool. Just like this, and we're going to use it to bend this rail outward. And so the way we're going to do that is we're going to come up here to the Radial Bend tool, go ahead and click that to activate, and then put your protractor along the face right here about where this curve starts. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure this is straight up and down, so your protractor would be blue. And then you're going to click once to set your base point. And then you're going to click again to set your reference direction. So you're just telling it, hey, look along this side for when we bend this. And then the next thing it's going to ask you for is a target point. That's basically asking the point. So it's basically asking, hey, where do I bend this? So go ahead and select the end here, just like this. And then if you move your mouse around, you can see that it's coming in here and already kind of bending that for you. So you can use the preview to kind of figure out the right rotation angle, just like this. And 75 degrees seems about right to me. So what I'm going to do is you can just click, or you can type in 75 and hit that enter key. When you hit that enter key, it's going to bend your geometry just like this. So now you can see that you've got your kind of bent stair rail out here. So one thing to note when you do this, and this is why it's important that you go ahead and model everything and get it good before you start bending everything, is it does kind of break the components in your model. Like if I come in here and I select this and I start scaling it like that, you can see the other one doesn't scale. So the components that are in here aren't really working the way that they were before. And I think this extension may break everything when it bends it. So just something for you to know. Make sure that you model all of these pieces right the first time before you bend this. Bending it should probably be the last thing you do on this rail, because it just gets a little difficult to come in here and work with this stuff. But the last thing you can do, because there's going to be two of these, is you can come across here, you can scale this, and you can make a copy with the move tool, and then you can flip it with the scale tool. And you may want to come in here, select this piece. Looks like I have it in here as a component already, but just make sure it's a component before you make a copy. That way, if you do decide to come in here and make some changes, I think, yeah, the component functionality will work between these two. So just make sure this is a component. So if you end up changing this one, you can change this other one in here as well. And you can come in here and kind of clean up some of these lines if you want to, just make everything look a little bit more complete. But in general, some of those you may not be able to, and you may just want to hide them using the Erase Tool's hide mode. So, and that's just activate the Erase tool, hold the Shift key, and then click on that. So that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you like this video, remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, make sure you click that subscribe button for new SketchUp content every week. If you really like what I'm doing on this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. That's how I keep bringing great SketchUp content. Every little bit helps, even if it's only $1 a month. In any case, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.